But 31 was one of these were bought, weren't they? And converted to make into these.
Yeah, Dunstable Land Rover was converted into a Land Rover. The movie company asked Land Rover for the vehicles.
Right,
so
okay.
Dunstable built them as driving movie props.
Right, okay.
Judge Dredd film with Sylvester Stallone.
All right-hand drive?
No, I think there was one or two that was left-hand.
Right, okay.
But mostly, they bought 18 right-hand drives out the army, I think it was 18.
Okay.
And then they had to sort of beg, borrow and steal the rest to get 31 together.
Right.
Because obviously they only made about 2,600 in total, didn't they?
The full control,
yes.
That's right.
So they were very scarce, and like this is a 1975.
Okay.
Sort of midway through, I think. But these were one of the last to come out of the army in sort of 95.
Yeah. So obviously Judge Dredd, Sylvester Stallone film.
Yes.
When was the film? Was it back in
1995 roughly? It was aired, and then Dunstable Land Rovers did the conversions, and they filmed it in London Way. And Dunstable Land Rovers actually drove all the Land Rovers around the movie set for them.
Right. Okay.
And looked after them. And I think they said it was 6 weeks of filming all night.
At night?
This is at night. This is why they've got all the lights and that on, so they can control the light conditions, and then they could have all the lights showing up in the dark.
Right, okay.
So they could control the lights, so they worked nights for 6 weeks apparently, so
right,
the vessel was saying.
Okay. So this is basically a futuristic taxi, isn't
yes,
it?
It portrayed the year something like year 2139 after the apocalypse, and everything was destroyed, so they had to have sort of all-terrain type taxis because all the roads were dug up and blown up and that sort of thing.
That's brilliant. So apart from that, it's V8, Rover V8 in it.
Yes.
4-speed box.
Yes.
I know you've done your little tweaks, we sort of converted a bit of power steering on it.
Yeah.
And various modifications. But other than that,
I've done a few jobs, little jobs, like getting this used to be a fire door that you push out in an emergency. Well, I've hinged it, but it's more or less as it came off the movie set in 95.
Right.
It hasn't really been messed with at all, it's as is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So thank you for bringing it down. And I'm going to have a word with Rupert.
And the other thing, actually, Bernie, is, I mean, what I've noticed while I'm sitting here, it looks so futuristic, and inside, it's just like a 1950s Land Rover. You know, I mean, it's really... Oh, yeah,
when the little children get in, rather than pull and push and break all my switches off, I put a little panel on here that's makes a noise.
That's it. And what's interesting is now the brake cylinder is here above his feet, right above his servo. It's here right above his feet. I mean, I'd never get in it. So it's quite basic inside, futuristic on the outside, and very dated on the inside, isn't it?
That's right. Not the most comfortable vehicle, is it?
No.
Rupert, what can you tell me about yours?
I bought her in '98. She'd been used as a timber truck. It's an ex-rapier tractor. Land Rover produced 2,664 of them. All came out of the factory soft tops, and then Marshalls of Cambridge converted some into ambulances, and a few got converted into radio bodies. And then there's about half a dozen what they call vampires, which are full of electronic kit, which are really, really rare.
Right.
Most of them are soft tops, and actually about 2/3 of them are left hookers, and the rest of them are right-hand drives. Most of them are 24 volt, like this one. There's a few 12 volts kicking around. But yeah, I've had her since sort of '98. Used her as my wedding car. It was the only thing I specified to my dear lovely wife Jo.
I like your style.
It was the only thing I had hand in the day. She organised the rest of it, all told. Yeah, it's just my toy. It's going into the grave with me, and I've told the wife if she divorces me, the only thing I want is the keys to the one I want.
Why not? Why not? So, ladies and gentlemen, these were only produced for the army. So you couldn't buy them off the production line like you did from the Series 3 back in the day. This one, as they were gun tractors, as Rupert says. I noticed this one's got the winch, where you can feed the cable out to the front, and also you can take this out, plug it into the back, and then you can reverse the winch cable then to reverse either to self.
Yeah, they drive through the gearbox, so they're actually off the PTO on the gearbox. So you've got 4 forward speeds. You use the forward gears for winding in and reverse to wind out on them. So they'll actually winch in at a hell of a rate of knots if you want.
Very powerful winch.
Yeah.
So you can self-recover from the front or
the
from
back
the
if you
reverse.
want. So you just all you do is feed the cable through over the top of the chassis to the back
That's right.
from the front.
That's right.
Yeah, real useful piece of kit.
So these two here, they are both the same vehicles, but obviously the Judge Dredd, still has all this underneath it. Has all that, has no windscreen, still has the wiper spindles, has this back body, but basically is this bit here has been taken off, and the big fiberglass body which has been put on top.
Yep, and all identical inside. So it might have been on a movie set, but they've kept costs down. They haven't done anything to the inside.
Still very basic.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you both for bringing it along, thank you. Long wheelbase, are we doing alright? Not bad at all, thank you. How long have we had this one?
Oh, I've owned it for about 6 years now.
Ex-military?
It's ex-military.
Is this, yeah?
Yeah, it's got a warrant number in the door there.
Right, okay. Petrol?
It's 2 1/4 petrol, yeah,
Okay.
with the original engine.
Right, 12 volt, 24?
It's 12 volt, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the 5-bearing crank.
Okay. And where's it been in service, do you know?
I'm not sure, I think it might have been Africa. Something
Oh,
like
right,
that.
okay.
I haven't got the full history, but it was first registered overseas.
Was it?
But it's totally original. You know, the chassis, the only bit of welding I've done is on the rear cross member.
Okay, yeah.
The rest of it's original.
Oh, it does, it really does.
All I've done really is a few oil leaks, serviced it.
Which is it's a Land Rover, isn't it?
It's only on the road 6 months of the year.
Is it, yeah?
I keep it off the road in the winter.
Okay.
And I just use it for the shows.
For the summer shows.
And towing the caravan and towing the tractor for the shows. And
Great,
it's
great.
a bit of a family vehicle, really.
You can't beat it, can you?
No,
can't beat
it's
it.
a good tool, this.
Thank you for bringing it along. Thanks ever so much, thank you.
Yeah, remember being on a farm and you'd be going down the field with an open top on. It brings back a lot of memories, doesn't it? And again, saying about the military yesterday, we were saying this is the hooks here, transportation at the docks, so they can lift them off the docks onto the ships, and with the smaller ones apparently to get a helicopter to move them round in rough terrain as well. So you can always tell the military. I would imagine this is a boy's toy. It looks a bit of a...
It looks like a boy's toy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
TD5. Obviously, I'm guessing it's a private plate, so it's going to be sort of anything from 2000, 2004. It looks like a good off-road vehicle. As you say, is it a proper toy, a boy's toy?
Yeah, spend a lot of money on the lights and everything. It's probably rather salubrious in there.
Oh, no, it was fairly original. Yeah, he's had some seats at the back of it.
Yeah, no, nothing more. It's more on the outside and all the toys on the outside, isn't it?
Right.
And although it's got these big off-road tyres, you wouldn't need much mud to sort of foul it up, would you?
We've got a nice Series 2A here.
Yeah.
Here we've got a nice Series 3. How are we doing, sir? Okay? Very good. What can we tell you about your Series 3?
We've had it since, I think it was 2017. It had been stood under a tree for 9 years previous and never moved.
Right.
So we bought it, we stripped it right down to the chassis, repaired the chassis, had it all painted up. And the only thing from standard is we put a TDI engine in it.
Right, okay.
Other than that, it's all
standard.
standard.
Standard gearbox?
Yeah, standard gearbox, yeah.
Yeah, still 4-speed.
Still a 4-speed, yeah.
Was it a ex-farm vehicle, do you think?
The people we bought it off, they just used it for towing a horse trailer.
Right, okay.
And then apparently something went wrong with the clutch. I think the clutch cylinder had gone.
Right.
So they just parked it under the tree. I think we'll repair that, bought something else. And that's where it stood.
So it broke down, they dumped it,
and
bought something else.
Yeah, and that's where it stopped.
And you bought it
We
and
bought
restored
it,
it since then?
yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
That's all we
Credit to you. Yeah, very good.
There we go, and probably the clutch went because they were riding it when they were starting off with the trailer on the back, isn't it? Yeah. Or more so when they were reversing, riding the clutch. Yeah, there we go. We've got a young man in this one, so He's clearly driving something that's a lot older than him. Perhaps he can tell us whether it's his vehicle or whether he's done any work to it.
Yeah, so it's my 1972 Land Rover Series 3. Had it for about 6 years now, and did quite a lot of work on it 6 years ago. Got it back to sort of how it was originally, sort of out of the factory. That was sort of the aim of this one.
Is it something you always wanted?
Yeah, I've always wanted one of these, just like the drive of them and the shape, and yeah, I've always sort of wanted one really.
And do you use it as an everyday car?
It's not an everyday, but it's quite good for just doing carting stuff around and materials and things like that really. So it's not an everyday car yet, but it does do a lot of work around the house and things like that really.
Smashing, thank you very much indeed, and it's nice again to see somebody younger taking an interest in something like this.
Nice Series 1 here. What age is this one? A 58, so it's the last of Series 1s, and it's an 88 inch. It is. So what end do you have on this one?
It's got a 2 1/4 in the later.
Right. So is that, no, would it have been a 2 litre?
It would have been.
Yeah. So 2 1/4 petrol?
2 1/4 petrol, yeah.
And how long have you had this?
We've only had it 3 years.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Bit of a restoration job?
Bit of a rolling restoration.
Yeah. And to see one with a truck cab on is quite rare, isn't it?
It's got a hoop set with it. Stick
As
set.
well,
Yeah.
is it? Even rarer?
Yeah, but it's finding the money for a canvas at the minute.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's right. Mind you, truck cabs for these don't come cheap either, do
No,
they?
no.
They don't. And it looks fairly straight. Chassis okay?
Yeah,
Chassis?
yeah, bit well.
Yeah. What do you expect? What do you expect? So what do you use it for?
It's just for shows really.
Yeah, you don't off-road it at all?
Yeah, well, we do a bit of green lane.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Overdrive on it?
No, not on this one.
You got the 750s on?
Yeah.
I see it's got a nice wooden floor in the back.
Yeah.
nice little.
So it doesn't matter what you chuck in it then.
Pardon?
It doesn't matter what you chuck in
That's
it.
right. No, it doesn't. It's straight, isn't it?
It's not bad, yeah.
Yeah. Where have you come from?
Chester.
Oh, right, okay, down the road.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks for bringing it down. Thanks so much.
Thank you, yeah, and I can remember a friend of mine having one of those, and they'd have a fit now. We used to take the doors off it in the summer, right down the road with the doors off it. And the other thing, if you had an accident in one of these, ladies and gentlemen, when you open the door, you lift the seat, and there's the petrol tank. You sit on top of the petrol tank. So there we go. Well, we've got a couple of Yanks down here, Bernie, again.
Willis Jeep on the end. A Ford.
Yeah.
Right. This is the Ford end, is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Ford GPW built in January 45.
Right, okay.
She was supposed to go to Japan, all carted up, ready to go. And
Right.
They dropped the bomb, and that's why she's still here, basically.
Right, okay. Okay, so how long have you owned it?
About 5 years now.
Have you?
Yeah, it took
And have you restored to this
yeah, it
level?
was a nut and bolt job. It was all in boxes when they bought it.
Was it? I can see, yeah. Tremendous job.
It took about 18 months to do.
Did it? That's dedication. Absolute dedication.
Yeah, over the moon with it.
I bet you are. So where have you come from?
Oswestry.
Oh, right, so you're long punch down the road.
Just down the road.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So just a show vehicle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potter around sometimes.
Yeah, on nicer days.
That's it.
A little bit warmer.
Bit warm.
Got a trailer to go with it?
No, not yet.
So this never really, did it go into service then or not? No. So where's it been then for the last sort of 70 years?
It stayed in the States. Farmer had it apparently, used it for a hack.
Right.
And then the chap from Shrewsbury bought it over,
Right.
stripped it, done the engine, and that's it. He just left it.
Lost interest?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I found it.
And you found it and restored it?
Restored it, and this is what she liked now.
It really is a credit to you.
Thank you.
It really is.
Very much.
Thank you for bringing it down.
Okay, no problem.
Well, what I must say, Dave, obviously, this is where they started from. This is where the idea of the Land Rover came from. Obviously, Willis Jeep, but
Yeah, yeah, Willie's sheep, yeah.
this is the idea.
Right,
So if there wasn't for these, you wouldn't have those.
right, there you go.
It would have gone from this to like the Series 1, the Series 2, the 3s, the Defenders, and so on.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, right.
It's good how it's evolved, isn't
Yeah,
it?
again, we're back now, aren't we? horses, steam trains, tractors, how everything evolves, isn't it? And that's it.